And in all of it, when we see Jacob making a splash here, what really is most clear is that God is making a splash in his providence. God is good. He's led Jacob back to his parents' homeland. Remember how God told Jacob that he would be with him wherever he went. How he was going to provide. He was going to bring him back to the land, which by implication meant that he was going to provide a spouse like he said he would. And we see that God has done all of these things, brought these details together, and it's led Jacob to just gratitude as he weeps aloud. And that's a testimony of God's providence. And I think as we think about God's providence in our own lives, an encouragement to us is to remember how God is always working in the different circumstances and the details of our life. Sometimes we don't know or see it in the moment. Here Jacob, I think, by his response, I think has some kind of clarity of what God is doing in terms of his response. But I like the Puritan preacher John Flavel, who said, some providences, like Hebrew letters, must be read backwards. Some providences must be read backwards. Sometimes it just does us good to step back and reflect on what's taken place, because it's there that we see how God was orchestrating and working out his plan in our life. We couldn't see it in the moment, but we can trace the evidence of his work in our lives. And I in my own life, we have a tradition that we typically do around birthdays and holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas, where we'll go through our phone and kind of take the pictures and videos from the year, over the past year of that child's life, or mine or Emily's life, or since the last Christmas, and we'll put it together in in a folder, on our phone, and then we'll stream it on the TV and just reflect and look back, and you can just see, yes, funny circumstances and moments, and I laugh. I think about my childhood and my dad when I got older. He was like, here is the one picture I have of you in fourth grade, and I, like my kids, I'm like, here are the 50 pictures I have of you before noon, like today. And so we got a lot more pictures to look back on, but as I see it, just more room to look back on God's providence and his grace in our lives. So when you look back, sometimes you can see in the moment that sickness, in the moment that difficulty, in the moment that trial, in the moment that thing you were walking through, like you didn't feel God, you were just trying to get through, head down, white knuckle, let's get through. And then you look back and you see what God's brought from it, or you're still praying for what God's doing through it. It's as we look back that we can see God's providence. The same providence on display in Jacob's life is on display in our lives if we stop to consider it.